Hello and welcome back to Module 2. Now we're going to transition into the electronic signature code and a signature block name and title. Again, please remember our PMS EHR is comprised of many components. The GUIs are infinitely configurable, but the one main constant is component functions are consistent. So what I demonstrate here will be duplicatable on your system as long as you find the component that you need to interact where it lives. So, about electronic signatures, in my opinion, there's three important components. I know there's some purists out there that will say, oh wait, John, the electronic signature area has more than just those three. And they would be correct. There is options for voicemail and paging that we don't use, or at least I've never seen it functioning. So I'm going to focus primarily on the ones that will affect your clinic, billing, HIM, etc. The three important components to remember is one, your electronic signature code. That is your main authentication piece, which I'll talk about more here in a little bit. The signature block name. This is how your name looks on your TIU or your progress notes. And your signature block title. What is your specialty? And this is all related to how you, as a user, authenticate and attest your EHR entries. So, what is all this authentication and attestation? What does that mean? It makes no sense to me. Okay. First, authentication, according to AHIMA, which is the American Health Information Management Association, authentication basically is the process of assigning responsibility to a user for entries they create, modify, or view. Attestation is the act of applying an electronic signature to content showing authorship and legal responsibility for a particular unit of information. So the best way I can describe it is once your electronic signature code, block name, and title, everything is filled out, you are setting up the ability for you to authenticate your information. However, the act of you going to the electronic signature tool and signing all your orders, that act is attestation. That's how I keep it, or how I understand it at this point. So they are technically different. They all revolve around the same thing. Authentication actually proves you own or you did what you did. Attestation is the act of doing it. Okay. So, what is the electronic signature code and how do I set it up? Well, as I stated earlier, it's used to authenticate your notes and orders. This is where you do need to use the e-signature tool to assign it. If anybody that completed the Word document that basically called the EHR component find, you were supposed to find your telnet session and where e-sig exists on the EHR that you have. Once we get there, though, it is assigned in the EHR by the end user. It must be 6 characters long. Initially, it needs to be all caps. However, after that is done, you can literally change it to anything you want. But the first sign-in, the first time you do it, or if you ever clear your signature, the first time it does have to be all caps and 6 characters long. However, one note, if you, for at any point in time, as I kind of alluded to just a second ago, forget your e-signature, no worries, it's all good. Just notify your IT, health informatics, and they will clear it. And you'll have to reassign it through these steps that we're about to go into. So, where is this located? If you're using the standardized GUI, you'll notice that up there you can see where I opened up the tools box. Once I opened up the tools box, a drop-down area became displayable. Within there, there is a component called e-sig. Again, on your GUI, you will need to find out where that is located. When you click on that, it will bring up this little electronic signature box area, and this is where you will put in your new and duplicate that code. You'll put in your new code and duplicate it again to confirm that it is correct, and that's where you assign your electronic signature. Again, keeping in mind, 6 characters long, must be all caps, but you can change it to anything you want after that. And how that works is, I don't have it shown here, is you just go back to that e-signature tool, you'll now have 3 boxes where it'll ask you what is your current code, and then you can change it to what you want. So now that we have our electronic signature code by the system, it's now going to, with you using that, it'll assign things to you. But what about your progress notes? How does things get displayed, or how does it show up in your progress notes? And that's what your signature block name and title is for. And this is where it's, this is, like I said, the authentication piece for the progress notes. Because sometimes, depending on how the information is shared, that's all they have. So how do you set it up? Well, this is primarily done by the end user. They will populate it using what we call the RPMS T-box options. To get there, you will need to go into the RPMS roll and scroll via the CRT or Telnet. You'll have to have your team describe to you how they get to the RPMS roll and scroll. I've seen it within EHRs. I've seen it loose on the desktop. You just need to find where that functionality is. Despite it being roll and scroll and looking very old school, this is where EHR sits, or what EHR sits on top. So the access and verify codes are exactly the same. So whatever you use for your RPMS EHR is the same exact access and verify codes you will use for RPMS roll and scroll. Once you log in, you need to enter down to where you get to the point where it says at the select IHS core option, you'll need to choose the following. And here I'm going to kind of show you how to get to the Telnet session here. On this GUI, you go to Other Services. Under Other Services, you go to Processing. And to your right is the Telnet session in which you enter your access and verify codes. So you are now in RPMS. You've got up to the main log-on screen. You've entered down to where it says Select IHS Core option. You will then type T-box. Once you hit T-box, you'll notice you'll have a list of options. One in there is called Electronic Signature Code Edit. At the Select Users Toolbox option, down at the bottom, you will type in Electronic Signature Code Edit. Once you do, it'll bring up this area. It'll do it, I'm showing everything here, it'll do it line by line. So the initial will be, initially you'll see your initials, which you should review those to make sure that your initials do match. It should be your first name, or the first letter of your first name, your middle initial, and then your last name. Signature block printed name should come up next. The system is going to automatically bring forward what was put in by your information technology team. I won't go into the details, but if they put it in correctly, it should, for the most part, display correctly here with your credentials. So this is another place for you to double check that your credentials are entered in correctly. Besides you as a user, your supervisor, and there should be some process at your site to determine that this was done and completed, should be happening. However, for readability, we do recommend, even if it was put in correctly from the information technology, everything in that part of the system when they enter you is all caps. You should go back here and change it to upper and lowercase as appropriate. So as you can see here, it came over as B student user MD. I changed it to upper and lowercase B student user MD. Again, as we said before, make sure that your credentials are located in there and it's upper and lowercase. Next, it's going to go into your signature block title. This is typically your license specialty. So if you're a physician, it's like family practice. If you're a nurse, it's probably advanced registered nurse practitioner, doctor of pharmacy, etc. This is usually not your working location. And when I say usually, do touch base with your HIMs, supervisors, etc., and have them tell you what they want there, because I have seen some sites have different requirements, but usually it is not your work location. And we had an issue at one location where there was a physician that had a specialty of family practice that was working in the emergency room, and he didn't put his specialty, but he said emergency services. Well, when they were audited, when the site was audited, the auditors took note of that and were very concerned that he did not actually have emergency services credentialing, or I'm not sure if I'm using the correct term, but he basically didn't have training in emergency services, so it wasn't appropriate. He was family practice. So it's not that he couldn't work there, it's just they want to see what is his specialty, not the working location. As soon as you finish entering that, at the next entry, you use what we call the up hat, which is your shift 6, and get out, and you're done. Now, once this is all complete, as I stated before, you should, before you hit the floor and start working, you should, on a demo patient or your training server, or not training server, on a demo patient, you should complete and electronically sign a progress note to confirm, A, that it looks correctly, or looks correct, and B, that your electronic code is working, that there didn't get a rogue finger swipe in there, or you simply forgot. I've seen some people, they enter it, and what they thought they entered and what they entered are two different things. But basically ensure that everything is operational before you hit the floor. And again, HIM and your supervisor should be verifying that you're set up correctly before you start working. To give you an example of how it looks in the system, here I'm bringing up the notes section under provider encounter, and I did a little note there saying testing out my electronic signature and verifying my signature block name and title is correct. I have all the information there. With that, we'll move on to the demonstration here in a second, and any final questions and discussion. And if anybody's interested in who I am, in case you didn't know, here is a biographical sketch.